Hey, listeners, another episode of Rawcast. Sitting here with a good friend, former colleague from the same company that Michael Clark worked at with me. So this is kind of like an old workers reunion, it seems. But we want to jump right into it because we've already been talking about some solid stuff. My good buddy Ben, how's it going, bud?
Pretty good. Yourself?
Oh, I'm doing fantastic, especially since you just informed me we got the Rockfest lineup that was announced yesterday.
Yeah, absolutely. It looks amazing. I gotta figure out how to afford tickets.
I know, right?
Because
I'll sell my plumbing. I don't care.
I hear you. No, my brother actually won 1 day VIP passes last year.
Oh, wow.
Oh man, like he won them from work, and it was for that day that he won them because he lives over in Eau Claire. And
So it wasn't a terrible drive.
no, it's like a half hour 45 for him.
There you go.
But yeah, he ended up just getting absolutely hammered watching Shinedown.
Oh, and I would too. I
So-
actually enjoy Shinedown quite a bit.
Well, and one of the things that we were talking about, or like forever, was we needed to go see. Oh gosh, I can't even remember the name of the band, but basically, yeah, when Shinedown plays Simple Man, just purposely singing it as loud and off key as possible, just to annoy the hell out of him.
Oh my god.
So yeah, he got his dream.
You got Grandpa, what's your best story? Well, this one time, Shinedown playing Simple Man.
Simple.
Oh my god. So as far as this lineup goes, so far all I know is Slipknot, which even with Paul passing a couple of years ago, Slipknot is going to put on a great show.
I know. I saw them last year at Northern Invasion, and they totally blew the house away. I mean, by far the loudest band I've ever seen. Like, just,
Oh, absolutely.
It was toward the end of the night, and Northern Invasion's in the first half of May, so it had gotten cold as hell, and they were doing no leave-in returns, and I left my sweatshirt in the car.
Oh,
I was freezing my ass off, so me and my wife ended up actually just walking back to the car, and we could hear the concert loud and clear at the car over a half mile away.
I can imagine. The two loudest shows I've been to was Guar on Halloween in Milwaukee at the Rave.
Oh my god, my wife was at that show.
That was insane. I was back by the sound tech, and before the band even got out, the crowd was swaying so much, I ended up front next
my
to the
God,
left
no.
Speaker, PA.
Wow. No, she, I forgot what other band was playing that night, but she went to see them and took the tunnel underneath and saw Guar at the same time.
Oh, I am totally jealous on that one. Then the other loudest was actually, I had pit tickets for Mayhem Fest back in 2009, 2010.
Oh, wow.
That's where Slipknot headlined with Disturbed. Machine Head was there, Mastodon. And holy crap. I mean, I was 10 feet away from Clown as he was banging on his
Holy
drums.
crap.
I swear to God, it took a full 2 weeks for the ringing in my ears to stop. That was such a loud show.
And completely worth it, I bet.
Oh my God. I didn't realize there was a couple different shows that I went to. There used to be a group of my college friends where we just randomly get tickets and go to a show.
Nice.
One of them that I just randomly bought tickets for at like $25 a piece was 3 Days Grace, Breaking Benjamin, Seether. Just, $25 a ticket. And the day of the show, I looked on tickets now, and people were selling them for triple face value at least.
I believe it.
I had no idea it was going to be a popular show because I liked Seether, hadn't ever heard of Breaking Benjamin at the time.
Oh my god. I think I actually saw that same tour too. I was over in the Twin Cities and saw him.
Yeah.
It was 3 Days Grace, Breaking Benjamin, and I think Psycho Stick opened for him.
See, you got Psycho Stick. We
And
didn't.
that was the first time I'd ever heard Psycho Stick, so I didn't know
Really?
what they were about.
And
And so, we got there and finally got in after Psycho Stick had started playing. I'm like, what the hell are these freaking weirdos doing with these goofy ass hats on? And of course, it's a concert, so you can't understand the words. I was like, what the hell is going on?
oh, yeah.
And it wasn't until like years later when I'm actually hearing their songs, I'm like, that was who I saw? Oh my god, that was a missed opportunity to have a blast.
See, I feel this like Psycho Stick. I'm very envious of that. For me, it was when I got to see Mudvayne in support of the new game or a new game.
Okay.
When that album came out.
Oh my god, Mudvayne is one of those bands that I have not seen and is just...
They're so good live.
I'm hoping to God they get back together so I can see them.
I don't know if it's going to happen anytime soon, but it would be awesome because
they've said in a recent interview, I think like a month ago, they said Mudvayne's not dead yet. So
it's still technically
still
a hiatus.
There's still hope.
Because that show was fantastic. I think it was like my fourth time. I want to say Nonpoint was there. It was like my fourth time seeing Nonpoint.
Okay.
First time seeing Mudvayne. But then there was this little band, mostly unheard of at the time. And I remember looking to my friends and saying, watch these guys. They're going to be huge within the next couple of years. And now look at In This Moment.
Oh, wow. Yeah.
I got to see In This Moment when they were the pay to play, where you pay like 10 grand to go on tour with these big bands.
Yeah.
That's kind of what they were doing. They were towards the tail end of paying to be a support band. And now they're insanely huge.
Yeah, it's kind of like my buddy Derek. He saw Hailstorm before they got big.
Oh, I still haven't even seen
They were over in the
Hailstorm.
Dells and playing, and he ended up hanging out with them for like 45 minutes after the show because nobody was coming over and saying hi even.
Oh my God.
This was back when Lizzie was still like 15, 16, you know?
Jeez. And now they're one of the biggest deals as far as like American rock, straight up hard rock. Oh.
Yeah, they were at Northern Invasion 2 this last year, and they just put on a phenomenal show.
She can belt
rock
it out.
solid.
Like the instrumentals, Lizzie's an amazing performer. She's an all-around awesome person too. She does her own radio show.
Yeah, and she does guest spots on oh god, I can't even...
Isn't that Hard Drive?
Yeah, on Lou Brutus's show.
Hard Drive XL with Lou Brutus,
yeah.
who follows Rawcast on Twitter, by the way. yeah. Lou Brutus, I love you, man. You kept me through some tough nights when I worked at Granite Peak as a lift operator. Sitting at the top of Rib Mountain listening to Lou Brutus. Oh, that was some good times. But I've been out of it, man, since having kids. I haven't been to a concert in a few years.
It's hard now. I mean, thank God.
The expenses.
The expenses, just travel, because here in central Wisconsin, there was only one venue, and it was in the middle of nowhere. Now there's at least one downtown in Point.
What?
The Old Bruisers is now live on Main.
I am unaware of this.
Yeah, they have live music every weekend. I think that tonight's show is free because it's a local band. But May 2nd, or no, not May 2nd, March 2nd, they have Wayland coming in.
You're blowing my mind.
I shit you not. Wayland in less than a month in Stevens Point.
I'm not a huge Wayland fan, but I do like them. I have respect
they're
for them.
They're a solid rock band.
Absolutely. I can't say anything negative about them, but wow. I'm so glad that we're getting a venue here because for the longest time, like even when I was in college, I went to school for arts management. A lot of you listeners know that I had Flying Fan Management. The name came with my cousin Tyler, and I managed bands locally. 2 of them did sign with Turkey Vulture Records, and we struggled with getting live shows because we didn't have a venue. There was mostly bars, and a lot of bars either wanted to go for cover bands or Horseshoes and Hand Grenades, which, solid band. I went to college with the harmonica guy, Dave Lynch.
You have seen him become internet famous this past 2 weeks,
yes,
right?
He became internet famous by walking past basically a weatherman in Nashville with his shirt off after a snowstorm. But no, I mean, I had a couple different venues say that why would they take a chance on one of my bands when they can get Horseshoes and Hand Grenades in there for the same price? And I couldn't argue with them. They had Horseshoes and Hand Grenades. They're getting popular for a reason.
Yeah,
they got a good thing going. But now having live on Main, that's going to be huge. Because look at what the Fillmore started. I worked at the Grand Theater in Wausau, just literally kitty corner from the Fillmore, when they started getting bands like Nonpoint and Psycho Stick through there, Beyond Threshold we've talked about in the past. But then the Fillmore ended up closing down. They've got the Q&Z Expo Center, where there's only one artist that I still work with. That's Alex Clemens.
Okay.
And he actually got to open for Gemini Syndrome at the Q&Z.
I don't know. Q&Z, I think personally right now is committing a bit of suicide.
How
They've
so?
pulled out radio advertising for their shows. They're doing just internet Facebook advertising.
I don't know if they have enough of a grassroots following to do that.
No, I mean, hell, they got Drowning Pool coming in next week Sunday.
And tickets haven't sold out, have they?
No, not even close.
Wow. I mean, Drowning Pool, yeah, they may not be as relevant in the hard rock scene anymore, but the fact is it's Drowning Pool.
And they've been around, you know. They've been doing shows for 18 years. They know how to do a solid show, which is an amazing show. I've seen them twice actually. First time I saw them actually was in Kuwait in 2006.
Ah,
and
that's right.
Yeah,
was that like a USO tour or what?
Yeah, a USO tour they were doing, and I mean it was hilarious because they had to take a 15-minute break because the drummer had to take a shit.
Oh my god!
So there they are, all standing on stage. I forget who the lead singer was at the time because they've had
I think it was like 3 albums, 3 singers.
Yeah, they've had like a total of 6 or 7 singers at this point. I mean,
I think so, and 2, maybe 3 of them died.
Yeah,
and that's why they got a new one.
So there he is,
but they're still solid,
standing on the stage. Hurry up! Hurry up! Hurry up! Pinch it off, man!
Jeez, that's got to be something.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it's not even just the music that I love. I mean, obviously you go to the show for the music, but like, you've heard of Opeth, out of Sweden. When I saw Opeth, it was a great show. Everybody was on key. They were hitting it. Every song sounded perfect. But then there were these interludes where Mike Ackerfeld, the lead singer, would talk to the crowd. Like, somebody threw up a balled up piece of paper, turned out to be a note to the singer that I think it was a daughter and her dad. Her dad had been like struggling with cancer or something like that, and finally went into remission. And it was his birthday the next day. They had just seen him in Chicago. The very next night, they went to go see him in Milwaukee. And as far as I know, the next day, Mike Ackerfeld called him from the tour bus to wish him a happy birthday.
Oh, wow. That's awesome.
Or Mike talked about masturbation a little bit. He was asking the crowd, who of you are going to get lucky tonight? Who's getting laid? And he goes, I have about a 0% chance of getting laid tonight. Because he's from Sweden. He's married. He's got kids. His wife's in Stockholm. And he goes, but I do have about 100% chance of going to the bathroom on the tour bus and taking care of myself. and then jumped into the next song. Like, when you can relate to the fans, like with Lizzie Hale, what she's doing as far as being involved with music beyond just being a singer in the band, that to me is awesome.
Oh, absolutely. It's not just your stage presence. It's your presence as a human being.
And even being outside the box, like you talk about supergroups. Like, remember when they did Damocracy, which was like Ted Nugent, Sebastian Bach, Scott Ian, and then I can't remember the guy's name. He's married to Tara Patrick, the former porn star, was the bassist, I believe the bassist in Biohazard.
Okay.
I can't remember his name.
You got me on that one, so.
But then this newer group that you just told me about before we started recording, Hollywood Vampires?
Yeah, they are also going to be at Rockfest. Holy cow, what a lineup of groups or people that is. It is Alice Cooper, Johnny Depp. Let's see who else. I mean that.
And then would you say Steve Perry?
Joe Perry.
Joe Perry.
And
sorry.
then they've had Paul McCartney, Dave Grohl, Slash, Brian Johnson, Zach Starkley. I mean, that is as all-star as you can get.
Oh, I would almost pay just to see them because I haven't heard Johnny Depp actually perform in a band.
I have once. And
really?
That's when it was for the the music awards that was all metal. The Revolver. Awards.
Oh, really?
He came out and did guitar for Marilyn Manson. And everybody just went absolutely nuts.
Oh, wow. Do you remember what song it was?
God, no.
Was it a newer one, older one?
It was one of his classic ones. But, I mean, it was just like, holy crap, it's Johnny freaking Depp. Because actually...
Put a new spin on that. Wow.
Like, Johnny Depp dropped out of high school to be in a band, not to be an actor.
Really?
And his guidance counselor told him he should. He's like, you have way too much talent. You need to do something with it.
This is all news to me.
I mean, yeah.
So now he's like basically started a band, and Johnny Depp's what, in his early to mid 50s now?
Yeah, and just keeps getting better, man.
He's like a nice wine. It just gets better with age.
Yeah, let's see. Just gonna take a look to see who else, because I mean the lineup is really...
Rockfest is huge, and we've only covered the huge, first two.
And it's very, very metal centered this year. Like, usually they have a good balance of, classic rock groups, modern rock groups, some of the newer emerging indie band rock that just
it's a good mesh, really.
This is really metal centered this year. Let's see, we've got Alice in Chains, Five Finger Death Punch.
Who do they have singing for Alice in Chains now?
Oh God, I don't even remember.
Didn't they have for an acoustic tour? Didn't they have Phil Anselmo from Pantera do it once?
Oh God, I don't even remember. I think so. I mean, Alice in Chains is another one of those bands that have had a lot of lead singers.
I mean, Jerry's still with the band, right?
As far as I know,
the guitarist that did the back vocals?
Yeah, it's still William Duvall.
Is it? Okay, so they've stuck with it from the last album, I believe.
Yeah.
So we got Alice in Chains, and I've told listeners plenty of times I'm not a huge Five Finger Death Punch fan, just because I was a Soilwork fan first, and they sound too similar in my opinion. But my first experience with Five Finger Death Punch, had never heard of them, and that I saw them at Mayhem Fest. And that's, there was the Metal Militia. And for those of you that don't know, both Ben and I are sporting the Metal Militia etnies right now. But Metal Militia was there. Remember the band Airborne?
Yes.
It was like a modern take on like the AC/DC style
I know,
rock.
I loved Airborne, but they didn't get enough pull in the US.
Yeah, they fizzled a bit.
But I mean, it was
still a good show. It was
AC/DC reborn, pretty much. I mean, I was disappointed that they ended up ending their tour with the Uproar tour.
They ended it?
Well, they cut out a couple stops early. I saw the last.
They ended early.
Yeah, I was at the last stop, Uproar, which was in Madison, and that was a killer show. And
because they were good live.
That was actually when my really good concert luck with my wife started, because we were we were watching the outdoor shows, because the first half of it was outdoors, and then they brought it indoors for the evening.
Oh, nice.
And so we're watching Hell Yeah, and
which is great live too.
Yeah. Oh,
another super group.
I got to agree with my buddy Derek. Is Hell Yeah is an amazing band, except they pick the wrong songs for their singles.
They do.
This album, they've been doing a lot better with that.
Have they?
But they really come off as Texas beer rock if you listen only to their singles. They're really a very solid.
Oh, absolutely. Band, because like Alcohol and Ass on their first album, I didn't think was a good representation of the band as a whole, but it was still a good song.
The rest of the album was completely different.
Oh, absolutely. But it was like hard hitting. It was like a refreshing take on American modern rock.
Absolutely.
I loved it.
Yeah. Anyhow,
sorry.
During that,
but I should say Five Finger Death Punch, first saw them at Mayhem, they hit it. They do put on such a hell of a good show that I will not deny them.
But anyhow, they were having a raffle for some children's charity or something like that. I bought one ticket. One.
It only takes one.
Mine was the first one pulled.
So what'd you get?
Backstage meet and greet with Disturbed.
So you got to hang out with David Draymond, Danny Donegan. Oh my God.
Actually, it ran a little over because they were in the middle of a Texas Hold'em tournament. So we had to sit there and wait for them to finish the tournament so that way we could do our meet and greet. But like the lady didn't know where
Hold on, Danny's got pocket aces.
But yeah, the lady didn't know where to take us, so she drug us all the way through backstage.
Oh, so you got to see like everything.
Everything, you know, and Avenged Sevenfold, and that was the first time I saw Hailstorm. They were there. Just
that had to have been an awesome time.
It was just great being able to go backstage. I was like, hell yeah, this is awesome.
I've yet to be backstage at a show. Like, I mean, I've had, you know, little meet and greets with, like we've talked about it back when we worked together. Wicked Wisdom.
Okay.
The singer was Jada Pinkett Smith. That was her band.
Okay.
So, I mean, she is so timid. Like, I gave her a compliment because I didn't know it was her at first till I worked my way up to the front of the stage. That was actually in Merrill. There was Seven Dust. They headlined.
Well, yeah, Seven Dust loves this
loves
area.
Wisconsin.
Especially
same with
Merrill.
Nonpoint.
Yeah.
Nonpoint and Seven Dust love touring here, it seems.
I've seen, oh gosh, I want to say I've seen Seven Dust 3 times.
I only saw them one time, and that was right after they released Seven, I think it was.
Okay.
And wow, was that just the introduction. They know how to hook an audience.
Mm-hmm.
Big time. Big black sheet covering the stage. Strobes go off as the intro starts. And then explosions, the screen drops, and they hit it until they're done.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I saw them at Northwoods Rock Rally. The second year that they had the rock rally.
Now, is that still going?
Oh yeah, it's still
I haven't
going.
even heard of it.
They're a little bigger than they used to be, but I mean, because we were there the second year, and they had all this really nice homemade log furniture for all the tables. Like there were sections of log, and the bar was a half a log split down the middle that they lacquered the hell out of. And we're like, where the hell did you get all this? Well, there used to be a couple of trees out by the stage, but we had Jackal here for the first year for the headliner, and nobody took the chain off the chainsaw. So he cut down the trees during the show.
Oh my God, that's right, because with Jackal, that's a real chainsaw going.
Yeah, well, nobody took the chain off, so he went and cut down some trees during the lumberjack.
Wow. No. How many people can have a story like that? They're like, we got our bar because the guy from Jackal cut it down.
I know. I was just like, oh my God, that sounds just too crazy to be real, you know?
Oh my God, that's such an awesome story. I would live that up. I would almost have it carved in, felled by.
I think he did sign at least a piece or something.
Oh, that is awesome. Because at the very
even if
least,
it's not a real story, I don't care. That's
well, and some people think that's just a stunt where he plays it with the chainsaw. But the majority of the time, when he's done playing the song on the chainsaw, he'll cut a chair in half or he'll cut something.
Well, yeah, and that when I saw him at Rockfest like 2-3 years ago, that's what I was figuring was gonna do. You know, because like at the end, he brought out a wooden stool, and he set it out there, and he's playing with a chainsaw, and then I'm like, all right, he's gonna saw this thing to pieces. No, he turns off the chainsaw, opens up the gas tank, dumps the tank on it, and sets the stool on fire. I was like, what the hell?
Oh my God.
I was not expecting that. And then of course smashes the stool while it's still on fire. And then grabs a microphone stand, which I hadn't even paid attention to because it was a microphone stand, and I was way off in the general admission area. And it's a shotgun, and he fires it off into the air. I'm like, where the hell did that come from?
It was a fully loaded mic stand. Huh?
I know.
Wow.
I'm just like, wow. Just the stuff that you don't expect. And yeah, it's funny because right before they started Lumberjack, he had run over on time for a set.
Oh.
And you could tell that the people on the side stage were
Get off there.
They were like, tapping their wrists saying, hey, you're over on. He was like, I don't care if I'm over on time. I'll pay the fucking fine. And then started playing the Lumberjack.
Oh, that's awesome. Because, yeah, that is actually the case for a lot of bands on those bigger tours. If you go over on time, there is an allotment fine.
Oh yeah.
And so some bands, like, if there's a night where the band is totally feeling it and they just go with it and they're willing to pay that fine, that's a worthwhile show.
Oh yeah, absolutely. It was a blast, and of course, middle of July, he had like the 3-4 o'clock set, so the sun is just out full freaking blast. And
I've heard stories where people like Rockfest, Rock USA, they end up walking around in shorts, nothing else, and they
Yeah.
pass out drunk in the sun.
yeah, I know. Well, Rockfest now, the water at the top of the hill they just leave open for everybody because it may be tapped, but it's free.
Yeah. And you know what? I would rather have it that way. Mind if I snag another one of those Point Drop Dead Blondes?
for
Unofficial
it.
sponsor of this episode.
Yeah, the unofficial sponsor.
We'll be unofficial until Point Brewery actually accepts my advances. Because when I was managing bands, I tried to get them to sponsor, and what was it, Tuscan Road?
Okay.
That was the only band that Point sponsored, and so I was trying to get them to open up the doors a little bit.
Yeah, they weren't budging out.
They didn't budge, but Point, you're still my favorite brewery. I love you.
Oh yeah, it's
But yeah, so the lineup, I saw just a minute ago, Marilyn Manson. This is Rockfest again, by the way. Breaking Benjamin.
Rise Against, Bullet for My Valentine, Skillet. Oh my God.
Queensryche?
I remember seeing Skillet back when they were a strictly Christian band.
So they've kind of changed. They've morphed their image.
Yeah, no, they transitioned actually pretty eloquently over to the mainstream side. Like, Skillet started in 96.
Yeah, they've been around for a while.
As a Christian band. And I saw them, I want to say in 97 or 98. Probably 98.
That's a good time to see them, though.
Oh my God. And they...
98 was huge for music.
I hate to say it, but in all honesty, in the late 90s, the Christian music scene for rock was way ahead of their time.
Well, POD was around too at that point. Isn't that when they started emerging?
POD was out. Chevelle was out.
And people forget that Chevelle was more towards the Christian side.
They were. I remember watching their music videos on a Christian TV station back in 97. Mm-hmm. I mean, if that says anything. Like, my mom was, you can go to concerts as long as it's like a Christian band. So I got really big into the Christian music scene back in the late 90s because...
But there was more of a caliber back then.
Oh, absolutely.
And then people started, like, it's Skillet, Chevelle. It sounds like they transitioned out of it. Mm-hmm. Whereas, like, POD kind of stuck with it, it seemed. And POD hasn't been around in a long time.
No.
But then Flyleaf, they ran into a position where instead of changing their music, they straight up said, we're not a Christian band. Mm-hmm. We are a band, and each one of us are Christians. Yeah. And they started falling apart then. Lacey, I believe, actually left the band.
She now has a solo career.
And that can always be tough. Look at Scott Stapp.
I mean, I've heard some of her solo stuff, and it's pretty good.
Is it solid?
Yeah.
Because she does have a beautiful voice. Mm-hmm. And I saw Flyleaf 4 or 5 times. And okay. They were solid, too. They weren't my favorite, but you could always count on them to give you a good show. Mm-hmm. So, yeah, looks like Queensryche is going to be there.
Queensryche, yes. The concert that I missed last Saturday, even though I had tickets.
Yeah, last Saturday was my weekend of work. Ben won tickets to see Queensryche. Offered them to me, and I couldn't go either. I told my wife, and she didn't understand why I was so sad. I still have to show my wife Queensryche.
Yeah,
they're classic, man.
Yeah, and I felt so bad because it's like I was at EverCon, which is the biggest local gaming convention. Like,
really, where's that take place?
Up in Wausau.
Really?
And it's a 2-day gaming convention, and it's everything games, video games, board games, RPGs.
Oh man.
If
So
you
like with video
hasn't,
games, we're talking handheld, console, and PC.
you damn right. They had a Call of
Ooh.
Duty tournament. They had a Smash Brothers tournament. They had an
I am loving
entire
this.
wall of TVs set up with consoles on them.
I am loving this idea.
They had a Minecraft tournament, build the best monster or something like that.
Damn.
And yeah, all the video games were in the gym because it was at the junior high school.
Which just at the Wausau Junior High School or?
Oh, the one in Schofield. I can't even remember it now.
Oh, okay. I know which one you're talking about. That's huge though.
Yeah, and
Because the closest thing I know of was the campus, what was it, the JROTC would put on Halo tournaments at UWSP every year, which I competed in. We were great. Me and my buddy were great Halo players, but in the middle of the tournament, I got a phone call from my mom that my grandma had been diagnosed with cancer.
Oh my god!
And that crushed it.
Yeah, you're done then at that point. But they had,
EverCon, yes.
They had some amazing special guests there. They had Frank Metzger, which
You're gonna have to fill me in.
Frank Metzger is one of the original creators of Dungeons and Dragons.
Oh, that is huge.
Was DMing.
All right, folks. So basically, we did deal with a little technical difficulty, but we're back here in episode 10 of Rawcast AD with Ben, former colleague, music enthusiast, video gamer. We were talking about EverCon, and you were talking about Magic the Gathering.
Yeah, the DJ for Rock 94.7 actually built a whole bunch of decks, 5 monocolor decks. You brought your own deck, decided what color you wanted to play against. If you won, you won a t-shirt.
Oh.
You know.
Which is solid.
I know.
I would totally love
Just
that.
for playing Magic.
Oh, you're wearing a Doctor Who shirt, man. That's awesome. You got the call box on there.
Yeah, and it's the old school Doctor Who. Doctor Who versus the Daleks. That's Peter Cushing.
Oh, you're going
That's not
back.
even owned by the BBC, and that's why Coles has been able to have it, because getting rights from the Cushing estate is a lot cheaper than getting rights from the BBC.
I can imagine what Doctor Who and the BBC have done. That the royalties on that must be off the wall.
I know. So that's their backdoor way of getting Doctor Who merchandise, is they're going after Cushing's estate to let them use his movie, which that way, that's how you know if it says Doctor Who and the Daleks, that's the Cushing movie.
That's separate, folks.
Yeah, he's not even counted as one of the official doctors.
Because... Oh, kind of like that random 007 movie, right? Mm-hmm. Which one was that?
And that was honestly the direction that they were trying to take it. Doctor Who was come out with movies every couple of years, just like the James Bond series.
Which I would love to see some more Doctor Who movies.
But yeah, with
I know we were trying to talk EverCon, but to me, David Tennant was my favorite Doctor of the modern series.
You know, I've really been digging the newest one. Like, the more I watch Peter Capaldi, the more I'm liking him as a Doctor, and he is an old school rocker too. Like,
he comes off as that old school rocker.
He was in a punk band.
Yep.
Back in the 80s. With oh my god, now I can't remember his name. Night show host, Scottish.
God, who was?
Damn it! Now my brain is completely gone.
We both have smartphones here with internet access, just to let you guys know.
Craig Ferguson, him and Peter Capaldi and Craig Ferguson were in a punk band together in the late 80s.
Wow. Maybe they need to reunite and hook up with Johnny Depp and the Hollywood Vampires. I would probably listen to that. But man, I would love to see some more Doctor Who movies, because Trailer Park Boys.
Okay.
You know, I know it's like a night and day difference, but like Trailer Park Boys, they had the movie, they do a season, they do a movie, they point drop dead blonde burp. So there were movies thrown in there, and like that was interesting, because you don't always want to sit down and watch a 21-minute episode.
Yeah.
And I mean, if Doctor Who, like, even if they went ahead and like brought back even was it Chris Eccleston?
Yeah, although he's very against coming back. Like, he does not want to get his name tied into Doctor Who. He doesn't want to be typecast.
I don't think he'd be typecast. Like, David Tennant has gotten other jobs.
I know.
Look at Daniel Radcliffe as Harry Potter. He's gotten other jobs.
Well, Tennant right now is God, he's the bad guy in Netflix Marvel series, and I can't remember which one.
Oh, no way.
And like,
See, that's
and
why
I
I
have
like
that.
Tennant as the Doctor, because he did have that mean streak that he could play a good bad guy.
And it's one of those that's on my queue that I just have not even begun to get around to. I can't even remember her name.
I might Netflix that right now.
Oh my god. Yeah, IMDb, come be my hero. And for God's sake, I think IMDb has turned into the ultimate argument settler. At
Really? Why is
bars.
that?
Because this dude was in this, I swear to God. You know?
And I have done that before too, when somebody's like, "No, there's no way." I think it was with my dad. We were talking about Carl Weathers, and my dad thought that the guy that played that particular character was Danny Glover. We argued about it until I brought up IMDb, and I was like, "Carl Weathers, motherfucker."
Oh yeah, he was in Broadchurch.
I know some people that actually really dislike Peter Capaldi as the Doctor.
Really, I really like him because he is, you know, that kind of darker feel to it. Because really, Matt Smith was the Pee Wee Herman of doctors.
He was
You know,
fun.
all of his stuff was over the top goofy. And like I go back and watch some of the original Matt Smith ones, you know, from like season 7.
Yeah,
I'm just like, oh my god, this is
too goofy.
This is straight up freaking kids stuff. No wonder all the kids like him.
Yep. Whereas Peter Capaldi was trying to bring it back to the base.
And
I did like what they did. There was that I don't know if it was 1 or 2 episodes where they had David Tennant, Matt Smith, and John Hurt.
yeah, oh, the 50th anniversary.
The 50th was, I thought they did a great job with that episode.
Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah, I forgot to bring up on Netflix.
That's okay.
My bad.
I'll find it. But yeah, that was a awesome episode, and that's kind of what they do for Doctor Who. Is they'll have a season and they'll always have a special, like their Christmas episode, which you can, for more or less, is, you know, separate from the main storyline, so you can sit down and just watch an episode and not know what's going on.
Oh, essentially, yeah.
Actually, this Christmas one was pretty nifty because it was the Husbands of River Song, so they brought back.
No way.
They brought back Alex, and so it was her and Peter Capaldi playing off each other, which ended up being a pretty damn good episode.
I've been out of it. I'm behind on so much. To be honest with you, like, I basically work, take care of my kids, try to be the best husband I can, and I'm working social media for Rawcast.
I hear ya. I'm trying to think of... Jessica Jones. That's the name of the one that he's the bad guy for.
Really?
Yeah, and apparently he is an amazing bad guy.
Yeah, I would love to see that. I would almost, like, you look at the show Gotham, the guy that got to play the Penguin.
Mm-hmm.
He does a solid job, but I would almost see David Tennant playing that role much better. It almost seems like the guy almost channels David Tennant's acting ability on that.
Yeah.
But I mean, from what I've seen of Peter Capaldi, it didn't feel stale or anything like that. It felt different, but then again, it's different every time you get a new Doctor.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah, absolutely. It was a lot darker, which I personally liked.
Yeah, well, you think about the
He was Kilgrave
Kilgrave.
in Jessica Jones.
Oh, is that's the name of the character?
Yeah, and like I said, I have yet to watch it, so it's one of those that's
It'll be
on
a
my
first
list.
for us. I'm gonna have to add it to my list because I don't know, I went back and I've been like rewatching stuff. I was watching. I've got a few more episodes of The West Wing before I watch the entire series.
Okay.
I'm a very political type person, but then like I rewatched Thor: The Dark World.
Okay.
You know, trying to get back into that because I still haven't seen Age of Ultron. I still haven't seen Star Wars Episode 7. Like, I'm so behind.
Man, it's worth it too.
I
Well,
might as well be in the dark.
I was gonna talk about spoilers on that, and I was like, nope, I guess I'm not.
Yeah, please don't. But so I mean, EverCon. When does that take place?
It's usually the second weekend in January.
Oh, so I already missed it.
Yeah.
Crap.
But then again, this year was their second one, so
I'm gonna want to check that out for next year. That sounds like a hell of a time.
$15 for admission, which for a con, worth it.
$15 for a con? I mean, what does actual Comic-Con cost?
Oh, I don't even want to know.
For people like us, you factor in the hotels and the flight and all that, and that still doesn't even scratch the surface because you're gonna have admission, and on top of that, nobody wants to go to a con empty-handed. Mm-hmm. Or come home from a con empty-handed. I mean, like if I go to Comic-Con, I'm gonna want to come back with some comic books.
Yeah, I know. It's funny. I actually ended up just buying a expansion pack of God, I can't even think of Cards Against Humanity while I was there because they had the science pack there, and that's been like the.
Oh, they have individual packs like that now?
There are 6 expansion packs.
Because I've got like expansions 1 through 4.
Yep, there are 6 expansions. Then there's the big black box.
Yep.
And then they have some specialty packs like the 90s pack.
I didn't know that.
The holiday pack. They have the science pack, which is hilarious. There was one card in there in specific that I wanted, which was electro ejaculating a capuchin monkey. Which is just...
That's Cards Against Humanity gold right there.
I know. You really can't get much much better than that. But, yeah, it's like, go figure. That's the one thing I bought. But there was a guy there making maps. Like, maps of any sci-fi or whatever places. And
so, like, if you wanted Middle Earth.
As long as he could get the rights to it, he'd draw it for you.
Oh, so he goes through the proper channels,
yes,
too.
Yes, he does. So my wife picked up a map of Neverland
from
Disney's Peter Pan.
See, my kids would love that.
Yeah.
They have the kids show Jake and the Neverland Pirates.
Yeah.
Which kind of spins off, so, like, you get Tinkerbell and Peter Pan in there once in a while.
Yeah, and it's definitely geared toward pre-K.
Pretty much, yeah. I still haven't been able to get them to watch Peter Pan. They like the movie Hook. Which Hook is classic.
Oh yeah, absolutely. That's Robin Williams at his best.
And wasn't it Dustin Hoffman played Hook?
Yes. Yeah. Oh my god. And who the hell was the actor that played Smee?
I can never remember his name.
He was the detective in Who Framed Roger Rabbit.
Yep. And then he also. Oh, forget it. I'm gonna wander off. But yeah, he was the detective in Who Framed Roger Rabbit, which, again, classic.
Oh, my God. Yeah.
But, like, Smee, Hook, Robin Williams as Peter Pan was awesome. Mm-hmm. I mean, who else would have played Peter Pan at that point?
Yeah, as a middle-aged guy, I mean...
Who was a kid at heart. Like, yeah, that exactly. Was Robin Williams.
Exactly. Yeah, I'm trying to think of what else was there at EverCon. They had a Pokemon tournament.
Oh, nice. I didn't realize that. Well, I suppose it's still relevant.
Yeah.
I'm still the original 150 type guy.
Yeah, now they're up to 700 now.
Oh, jeez. I remember playing that in elementary school.
Yeah.
Both the trading cards and the Game Boy Color games.
Yep. And so I brought my 3DS just to get a whole bunch of street passes.
There you go.
I was like, oh, there we go. Because
why not?
I do not have a team put together for PvP at all. Like mine is
I can
solely
imagine
geared to defeating and capturing. like if they can't do false swipe or sleep, they're not on my team. Pretty much it.
See, and that's what's kind of neat for me is. Because, I'm 26, and so, like, I grew up with some of the classic stuff, like, even the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles from the early 80s.
Oh, my God.
I grew up with that, but then I was also, like, the first run on Pokemon, stuff like that, and now, like, my kids have watched every episode of Pokemon Indigo League.
Yeah, and
Which I was like 8 years old watching that stuff, and now here are my kids watching it too, and they love it just as much as I do.
yeah, and I'm what 5 years older than you, so everything kind of slipped in a different part too. Like, in all honesty, I kind of missed the boat on Pokemon for the first couple of years, like because I figured, oh, that's too little kid for me, and then.
But it changed. I mean, it got huge. Like you had
Yeah.
the trading card games,
When I was
the adventure games, like you going around, like Pokemon Blue, Red, Yellow. We talked about before we started recording, and then in addition to that, you ended up with like they thought outside the box, and for like Nintendo 64, you had Pokemon Stadium,
Pokemon
where you could.
Snap was where it was at.
And I was gonna bring that up. Pokemon Snap, realistically, kind of a horrible game, but I got into it.
That was the first Pokemon game I ever played was Snap. And it was like, why do I like this?
Well, because you had to get the timing right. Like, if you happen to, like, say you're in a boat going down the river, if you look to the left at this particular moment, you might catch a Raichu.
Yeah.
You know?
Or, you had to throw an apple at the Meowth to get him to turn around. Or something like that,
Exactly. Because if you took the picture from the back, you didn't get credit.
Yep, exactly.
So, like, they for being an kind of out-of-the-box concept, they did a good job on the execution. And what I loved about Pokemon Stadium, and actually, is that it? Can you see it in that tote looking our way?
Yeah, let me take a look.
Like, Pokemon Stadium, they had that...
Yep.
They had that adapter where you could basically upload your Pokemon from the Game Boy games.
And actually, that was the only way to get a couple of the rares outside of events is you had to play through Stadium to get them.
Yeah, to me, that was fun. And I mean, that was the era of video games where, like, I remember my parents bringing home the Nintendo 64 with Rogue Squadron.
Oh, my.
And Rogue Squadron was, like, out of this world at the time. Now you play it and it's boxy and whatever, but it's still fun and classic to me. Yeah. I'm mostly about the classic games because I can't afford the modern ones.
I hear you. I mean, my folks never really could afford any of the consoles or whatever, so I always was at my buddy's house because his mom always, like, his dad is a video game nerd. So
really?
That helped a lot because he'd always...
That's fantastic.
bring home, like, they got the Nintendo 64 that Christmas of the year it came out. So
nice.
There we are, playing, Mario 64 because that was the only game that was worth it out
at the time. Yeah.
And Pokemon Snap because that was the only other game that came out at release.
My parents were late enough in buying it that it came with Rogue Squadron, if I remember right. So I never had Mario 64. Mario 64 came out on the first run, I think.
Yes, it did. That was the launch title.
So that was the launch title, and then I believe the second launch was Rogue Squadron. Or maybe that was just a special edition.
Yeah, that was a special edition because I remember actually when his 64 died, which you never hear about a 64 dying.
As far as I know, I have two of them under that coffee table.
I think Nokia took notes from Nintendo on how to build stuff.
Right? Seriously, the Nokia track phones still last forever.
Yeah.
Yeah. All I have for console gaming, two Nintendo 64s under that coffee table over here in the corner of our room, and a Super Nintendo.
But yeah, I think it was the Donkey Kong Country edition. Is what I got.
Oh, that's right. And that was fun, taking Donkey Kong to a whole new level.
Yeah, they got the memory expansion pack when they bought Pod Racer.
Yep. I was so mad when I got a game. It might have even been Rogue Squadron. Went to start it up and couldn't do anything because we didn't have the expansion.
Yeah.
Oh, that.
Yeah, adding a whopping 64 kilobytes of RAM, man.
Gaming has just accelerated so much now.
Oh, I know. Like, they've been showing off the new Tomb Raider game that came out just like a month ago.
I haven't even seen it.
And right now, honestly, the Xbox One version looks the best, even better than PC.
Really?
Because
how'd they manage
the
that?
hardware required. Well, if I remember right, it's EA that owns or that's distributing Tomb Raider right now. So
EA.
They do just a crap job on porting to PC. But
EA is all about that DLC now.
the requirements for playing that game with all the settings on are insane. You can have a 980 Ti, which is arguably one of the top 3 cards out there right now. And with all the settings on,
That's gotta be a big budget.
you can run it in 1080p, and it will rarely dip below 30 frames.
Whoa.
Which, that's an insane amount of graphical hardware.
Reaching a whole new level.
But, I mean, it's all about future-proofing now, you know?
Mm-hmm.
You've, for PC games, I mean, like, last year, they came out with the new Carmageddon game. And,
are you serious?
oh my god, it's great. I kickstarted it. It was worth it. Because I remember playing the hell out of Carmageddon in the late 90s. But
Carmageddon.
the physics are just out of this world on
really.
And yeah, just
like, what do they do differently?
Well, it's a brand new engine, you know, so it's just
completely built from scratch.
It looks absolutely gorgeous.
Because I remember being blown away just by Super Mario Galaxy, where they changed up the physics in that, like Super Mario 64, Sunshine, all those. Same principle, slightly different concepts, but Galaxy took it to a world where, like, okay, you're standing on one platform, you jump in reverse gravity to the next platform, basically.
But yeah, I mean, like, the graphical requirements, I mean, granted, I don't have a graphics card on my computer that's a spring chicken anymore, but at this point, to run it on a single graphics card at a high definition or higher resolution, you need multiple graphics cards, even of the top end ones, just because they future-proofed it so hard that, you know, in 5-6 years down the road,
it should still be relevant.
It's still going to look beautiful.
Well, yeah, I mean, I did see, like, the graphics from the new Tomb Raider. So you look at Laura from the original Tomb Raider to now.
Oh my god.
Holy crap, is there a difference? And that's still within our lifetime.
I know. It's crazy. It's mostly unrelated, but kind of still. This summer I was at a training meeting for appliance repair, and they were talking about, okay, look at everything that's changed in the last 20 years, you know, in the electronics side of appliances. You know, the compressors are completely different, wash machines are completely different, everything's completely different in the last 20 years. Now take all that, that's how much it's going to change in the next 5.
In the next 5? Holy crap. And I mean, wow. I don't even know what I can supply to that conversation.
It's just amazing how fast technology is picking up and moving. And that's, you know, anything from graphics and video games through dishwashers, you know?
Well, I mean, we've seen technology advance so much so quickly. Like, as far as appliances, we're waiting on the next generation. The next innovation that takes it, you know? So, I mean, I'm not totally surprised, but 5 years?
Yeah, it's just moving that fast. I mean, now LG's newest wash machine front loader has a pedestal that's permanently attached, and the pedestal has another wash tub in it.
No way.
Dead serious. I saw that and I've just shuddered. I'm like, oh man, that's going to be a wiring nightmare.
Hopefully it's efficient and it'll work great. Because,
knock on wood.
I mean, they surpassed Frigidaire, didn't they?
I honestly don't know. I mean, LG and Samsung are by far the biggest companies in Asia.
Yeah. And I mean, at the time with the company we worked at together, LG had just passed up all the other companies. LG was like our number one as far across the board.
As soon as we started selling LG appliances, it just took off like a rocket.
And understandably so, because I mean, yeah, we've got a Frigidaire refrigerator. We bought an Amana dryer, I want to say. And they're solid, but you compare it to somebody who's got one of the newer LG refrigerators, and those things are just nuts.
And, you know, the other thing is servicers are loving to work on them because they're easy. I had to tear
Are they?
apart a 31 cubic foot fridge because
That's one of the bigger ones.
that's the biggest one. And well, part of the part that I was replacing, because it was like a fuse or something like that, they said that, if there's any drop of moisture or frost on anything on the inside, it's going to screw up the brains.
Whoa.
So I had to get it bone dry and warm before I even plugged it in. It took me 10, maybe 15 minutes to tear the whole thing down to nothing.
Are you serious?
5 screws and a whole bunch of just pull and lift for everything. I'm like, this is easy. I love this.
See, that's fantastic. I'm glad to hear that. Because when I worked with Ben, when I left the company, I was the person responsible for routing the technician days. So, deciding which stops would be first, what the time frame roughly would be
How
for
long
their
it's
day.
going to take.
And I was still learning because that's a lot to learn. But I mean, if LGs are able to be broken down that fast, that makes your job easier, really.
Oh my God, yeah. It took a job that should have, I hate to say it if it was a Frigidaire, because I do like Frigidaire, but tearing that thing down to nothing and then defrosting everything, that would have been an hour plus job. And that LG, I was in and out in about 35 minutes.
That's incredible. Like any time like you guys had to deal with a compressor issue or something on a Frigidaire, I could count on marking you guys off for maybe 3 hours.
Yeah.
It was insane. Some of those had to take 2 people too.
Oh yeah.
So just the cost of servicing one of those units
was not what we were making back in warranty. I'll
not
say
at all.
that.
So I mean, that was a money pit, really. But I mean, I want to see if we can get through the rest of that Rockfest lineup, if you don't mind.
No, that's no problem. Queenstrike. Anyhow, let's see. Then there's All That Remains. Scott Stapp. That's his solo stuff.
Scott Stapp's gonna be there?
Yeah, Scott Stapp solo. In This Moment, Sick Puppies, which, oh my God, Sick Puppies have been around forever.
Australia, right?
I think so. They're from Australia. Saint Asonia, Led Zeppelin 2.
Whoa!
10 Years.
10 Years is awesome.
Yeah. There's Kix, Atreyu, Highly Suspect, which they are really up and coming very fast. Escape the Fate, Nothing More, Like a Storm. They are an amazing band from New Zealand. Worth seeing. New Year's Day, haven't heard of them, but Red Sun Rising, they're very good. They've got a couple singles out there that are really good. Faster Pussycat, Wilson, Art of Dying, I Prevail.
Art of Dying, really?
Yeah. Stitched Up Heart, Bridge to Grace, Wayland, Boba Flex, 3 Pill Morning.
Oh, 3 Pill Morning. Those guys used to roll with Planet of Nine.
Yeah. Beyond Threshold's going to be on the main stage.
On the main stage?
They're on the main stage. They may be early in the day, but they're the main stage.
If you guys haven't listened to Beyond Threshold, check them out. Basically, longtime partners with Turkey Vulture Records out of Rockford. Eric Virgin, the frontman, lives and breathes music. I swear to God, if you cut the guy open, it's going to be Beyond Threshold music coming out of him.
Yeah, he was incredibly stoked. Like, he was basically waiting till the minute he could announce that he's there to post it.
Well, that's a huge step for them. Beyond Threshold has been commanding the Chicago, Rockford area and hard rock for a while.
Yeah. Let's see. TNT, which they're AC/DC cover band.
Oh, fair enough.
Maiden Minneapolis. Yeah, that kind of gives that away. It's Iron Maiden cover. And Electric Eye. Basilitem? Not sure. Haven't heard of them. Nirvana, which obviously that's a Nirvana cover band.
Oh, it's Nirvana?
Nirvana.
Okay.
Who's Who? Guessing that's The Who cover band.
Who?
Prophets of Addiction, 7 Days Lost, The Black Fries. I'm guessing that's a Black Keys cover band.
Probably.
Station, Every Mother's Nightmare, Chaotic Resemblance, Screaming for Silence, Silverside.
Silverside is actually not terrible.
Anti-Star, Delacoma, Veilside, Gabriel and the Apocalypse, Vaudeville, Malice, Oblivious Signal, wow, Fatal Caliber, Cold Kingdom, Emissary Echo, Smiling Politely, Bad Remedy, Strange
Smiling
Days,
Politely, I remember hearing about them.
Strange Days, Aeraco, Aeraco. Uh, Myria, Myrriya. Wow, Myria. Truth Before Treason, My Memory Remains,
Holy crap.
and then they've got a couple celebrity tattoo artists.
No way.
Big C's, Brian Steffens, Clint Kimmings, and Eric Campbell, Halo, and James Vaughn, Jim Francis, Sarah Miller. So they'll have...
That is a huge lineup. That might be the biggest one they've had so far.
I know, and from the sounds of it, it's only a 3-day fest instead of a 4-day this year. Unless
so before where they were doing like 12 hours of music a day, this might be like 14, 16.
Oh my god, it sounds insane.
Oh, they got a countdown going too?
Oh, of course they do.
Oh, that's incredible.
They have their own Android and iPhone app and everything.
Oh, that's good to see. Because, I don't know, do you get in between the Rock USA, Rock Fest, like, battle at all?
No, honestly, it comes down to two humongous shows at damn near the same time, 200 miles apart, and we're right halfway in between both of them.
Yep.
We win. That's really what it comes down to.
And I haven't seen the Rock USA lineup.
It is not announced yet, although there have been leaks, and it looks very similar.
Okay.
Because basically what I've been seeing that Rockfest and Rock USA do is they will hire a good chunk of a tour that's already going on.
Which isn't a terrible idea.
No, it's not a bad idea because they're already touring together.
Yeah.
You know, like Gigantor. So they're all going to be in the same area anyways.
Which Gigantor, oh my god. I still have not seen Gigantor.
Yeah, like I want to say last year they hired pretty much 2/3 of Gigantor to be there.
Which is always incredible. Because Gigantor's always got, like, what? I mean, the past few years there's been, obviously, Megadeth, because that's Gigantor.
Mm-hmm.
But, like, Slayer, they've had Marilyn Manson... Or
Speaking
the
of-
Unholy Alliance tour. I wanted to see that back in
Speaking
the
of
day.
Megadeth, have you heard their new album yet?
I heard one song, and I thought it was damn good.
I'm highly impressed. They definitely have kind of worked through their sludge and got their crap back together. You
Really?
know? Like,
I didn't think their last album was bad.
It wasn't bad, but it wasn't great, you know?
Well, Megadeth for years, Megadeth has been that band where they put out an album, and it may not be the greatest thing, but it's a solid Megadeth album.
Yeah, I mean, and
So this one's a step up even yet.
I definitely been digging it. I mean, yes, it may still be the rose-colored glasses because it's brand new,
Yeah, maybe.
but I have been definitely liking it. But then again, like, I do like a lot of the newer post mid-90s Megadeth, like,
Oh, absolutely.
and they really don't get the credit that they deserve. Like, honestly,
Dave Mustaine has said to Lars from Metallica that it's been tough for him to see Metallica basically just hit gold no matter what, and everything he does turns to shit.
Yeah.
Like, Dave Mustaine has got to be one of the hardest working guys in the rock world, in thrash, really.
Yeah, I mean, once he cleaned up, man, he really was able to use his analytical mind to really make some highly in-depth quality music. Like,
Because, like, when Sweating Bullets came out, he was clean by that point, I think.
I think so,
Because he got very, very, very political.
but then again, like, in all honesty, I really did not like the song Peace Sells. And that's their biggest freaking single on that one. It sounds like two half songs that he just kind of pushed together and hoped that people would like it. And
I like the concept, but the overall production quality, meh.
yeah, that's honestly my least favorite Megadeth song is Peace Sells.
Well, even
But
one of my favorites for a while was A Tout Le Monde.
okay.
But the version he did with Christina Scabbia from, now I can't even think of the band.
Yeah.
Christina Scabbia, that's not OTEP, is it?
I honestly don't know.
Damn. But she's become bigger. I think she might be one of the next female metal vocalists to go solo, because she did a song. Remember the album the Apocalyptica did, where they had Adam Gontier from 3 Days Grace?
Yes.
Or I don't know if I'm pronouncing his name correctly, but then they had
Gantier.
Corey Taylor. Is it Gontier?
Yeah.
Because it's French. But Corey Taylor from Slipknot, and now I'm losing the name of the other band.
Oh God.
What is it?
Got me.
Through Glass. I'm looking at you through the glass.
Oh, that's Stone Sour.
Stone Sour. So,
Which
yeah.
is
So yeah, the Apocalyptica album where they had a bunch of guest vocalists. I mean, they had Tils Lindemann from Rammstein do a song, Helden, which
Okay.
is German for hero. That was a good one, and Christina Scabbia was on there as well, and she's a great vocalist, along the same lines of Lizzie Hale, I think. But Lizzie brings the heat, shall we say?
there's she has a certain stage presence that really,
Her reputation precedes her.
yeah, I mean, like, it seriously rocks hard.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, like I said, she was at Northern Invasion this last year, and there was also In This Moment, and
Which Maria Brink is solid too.
although it was a really disappointment because it's become more of a burlesque show and less of a concert.
And that's, you can ask any of my friends that talk music with me a lot, and I was more of a fan of In This Moment back in 2009 when I saw them open for Mudvayne than I am now, because
And
it's
she
Maria
has
Brink and the sex appeal.
Maria Brink has a great voice. She doesn't need to sell the sex.
And so like when you listen to their album, and they have, where they do almost like the record scratching type thing, or they like, that they skip the vocals a little bit and then jump into it again. They didn't do that back when I saw them. They didn't have all the special production effects or anything like that. They were a band playing their music.
Yeah.
And they were better at that stage.
Well, yeah, and like within This Moment, they played a 45-minute set. She had 5 costume changes in 45 minutes.
Which is ridiculous.
Yeah, in all honest, and with how long she was taking with those costume changes, they could have played another song, maybe even 2, if she had just cut down to 3 costume changes.
Yep.
And
like what I said with Flyleaf, how they always put on a good show. Lacey Mosley would put on, I know she's not with the band anymore, but the 4 or 5 times I saw them, it was Lacey Mosley standing at 5 foot. Mm-hmm. She would put on the same like gray or black dress and wear that for the whole set.
oh yeah, she'd be twirling around in her ankle-length skirt
Yep.
the entire time.
Exactly it, but I mean the whole focus of it was the music, not the image. And so In This Moment is one of those bands, in my opinion, where the image is now overshadowing the artistic
I'm trying to think
development.
of the other female-led band that is big that was there too. The lead singer, she was Cindy Lou Who when she was a kid.
No way!
God, what the hell was
From the Jim Carrey Grinch movie?
Yes.
Whoa!
I can't remember.
She's
her
a
name.
metal vocalist?
Yes, she is. And now it's really irritating me that I can't remember her band's name, because it's just as big right now. Oh my God! Damn brain.
Brain no work good sometime.
Their song, one of their biggest ones, is Heaven Knows. The Pretty Reckless.
Oh, I've heard of them.
The Pretty Reckless.
That's Cindy Lou Who, really?
Yes, and on the album, one of her best friends is a porn star, so they recorded her getting herself off.
Wow.
Yeah, she is night and day from Cindy Lou Who, I'll put it that way.
People grow up. People change.
She's how do I put it? Very California.
Oh,
If
there
that
you
makes
go.
it, if that makes a sense of a description.
Californication.
But like the first time I saw, well, I didn't go to the first time that she played Rockfest just because I didn't win tickets and that was the only way I was affording going.
Yeah.
But apparently everybody was really disappointed because she wasn't playing any instruments, was having a hard time holding key, pretty messed up the entire time,
Yikes.
And this time, or last year when I saw her, they gave her a tambourine.
Jeez.
And she was present this time, but she didn't have presence. You know what I mean?
That's odd. What's going on with that?
She's on something.
She's just too drugged out.
Yeah.
But see, what's the difference between like bands nowadays and bands like from the 80s? You saw so many bands from the 80s. Like, how many bands had #1 hits? And when you go to see them live, you could tell, like, say, the guitarist who was known for just having amazing solo work was just high out of their mind.
You know,
like drooling on stage, playing these amazing works of guitar.
And that was the problem that I had when I saw Buck Cherry.
Really?
Because remember when Buck Cherry and Avenged Sevenfold played through Wisconsin? They had a tour.
Yeah.
My buddy saw them when they played Madison. He said Buck Cherry was on point. They had an amazing show. I saw them 2 days later in La Crosse.
Okay.
Fucking terrible.
Really?
Absolutely terrible. Like, they had a poor sound guy who just couldn't balance everything, so it was harsh. And like between every song, he just kept turning it up, and it just got worse and worse. By the time they played Crazy Bitch, I left with my hands over my ears. I've never left a concert early before. Buck Cherry's the only one I did. And it's funny because Avenged Sevenfold just freaking stole the show. They had an amazing set. Because this was back when the Rev was still alive.
Yep.
And
may he rest in peace.
They had to actually take a 15-minute break because the fans leaned against the barriers so hard they broke the barriers up front.
I've got an envelope in my fireproof safe with concert tickets at least 1.5 inches thick from the shows I've been to, and not one time have I heard of that happening.
Oh my God. Like, and yeah, that's the thing. Like, they're standing up there like, we've never had this happen before. We don't know what to do. We've been told to stop playing while they fix it.
Holy crap.
And so like the Rev starts playing this little beat, and then the guitarists jump in with like a little country ditty, and they're just like goofing off, and then the security guard's like, oh, nope. Because the crowd started jumping around again.
It's amazing, though, how much music can have an effect on like people's energy and soul. Because all it takes is a little bit. You play something through that PA, and the fans are gonna swarm.
Yeah, it doesn't matter what it is.
Sometimes. Soundcheck is my favorite song.
But like, yeah, and then when I saw them again during Uprising, they still had an amazing show. You know, and that was after the Rev had passed.
Really? Because it's tough for me to kind of get back into it. Like, there are certain bands where, like, Typo Negative, when Peter Steele died, that band's never going to be the same again. Peter Steele had such a unique voice. Mm-hmm. Even if they wanted to keep going, they probably couldn't.
Speaking of that, did you see what STP's doing right now?
No.
Open interviews for lead singer.
Are they really?
Yeah, on their Facebook page yesterday, actually, they put it out publicly with a link for signing up to give your demo for being the lead singer STP.
There are going to be so many people to submit demos for that. I guarantee it.
Well, yeah, because, I mean, they had Chester Bennington, which I personally thought he did a decent job.
Now, that was Chester from Linkin Park.
Yes. And the thing is with Linkin Park and STP, that was scheduled demands he could not meet.
That's why you're going to burn yourself out.
He had to respectfully step down.
Because Linkin Park's back at it too, aren't they?
Yeah, and it is an amicable split. You know, they respected it as like, you know, we'd love to have him keep playing with us, but we understand he can't.
Yeah, which is good. it's nice to see that it's that way. And like, there are certain things that are kind of tough to people split hairs and whatnot. Like, okay, yeah, you got Vinnie Paul going off and doing Hell Yeah. And it's been rumored for so long that Pantera wants to get back together, and they've apparently encouraged the idea of Zakk Wylde filling in for Dime.
Okay.
Which,
wow.
which I think would sell. You'd get with Pantera, you get people in the seats. I don't know if Zakk would be the best person to fill in on guitar for Dime, but Dime and Zakk were actually good enough friends that it could be done. Like, we had talked Phil Anselmo filling in for Lane Staley on vocals for Alice in Chains when they did their acoustic tour. But I don't know if Zakk would be the best fit because he does have his own unique dynamic as far as his guitar work. And Ben just flushed a toilet during the recording. But I think that up until Phil Anselmo started getting into the news about racist comments and the Hitler salute and stuff,
Yeah.
I think a Pantera revamp with Zakk on guitar could have been relevant.
And, that's what a lot of people are saying with the STP thing. It's like, well, why not you find a new lead singer and go underneath a different band name? And it's like, no, STP is what sells,
Yeah, well, that's the thing. If you rebrand STP, look at apparently Scott Stapp is still at it, which I give him a lot of respect. Mm-hmm. But Creed was huge. All of a sudden, Scott Stapp goes on his own. What did the rest of the guys went off to form Alter Bridge?
Alter Bridge is honestly a really good band, too.
But they had a hard time, too. Mm-hmm. So, like, Scott Stapp solo and Alter Bridge, they were both struggling. Mm-hmm. It's almost like they were back to square two.
Yeah.
As far as trying to make music and get out there again.
I'm like, with Alter Bridge's last album, that Flight of Achilles, that solo or that single is amazing. I love that song.
I don't think I've heard that one.
It's like 7 minutes long, but it's worth it. It's a really good song. They had to.
I'm a big Opeth fan, and their songs can run upwards of 10, 11 minutes.
Yeah,
so
I'm
fine with that.
They had to cut it in half to get it on the radio, pretty much.
Which is tough to do. Like, you look at Machine Head. Mm-hmm. I hate watching Machine Head music videos because they always cut 2 to 3 minutes out of the song.
Yeah.
And it's just here's that solo I loved. Never mind.
Yeah, back in, I want to say it was December, Machine Head played at QNZ.
Yeah, I found out about it, I think, the day before, or the day of. Day after.
And, like, I was thinking, okay, there's no opener. This thing's gonna kind of be a little weird. But no, the name of the concert was An Evening with Machine Head. And they played an almost 3-hour set. Mm-hmm. I'm just like, wow, these guys still have a shit ton of energy.
Well, like, apparently, if you live out in LA, it's more beneficial, but I can never remember his name. It eludes me now, but the front man for Machine Head.
Okay.
Apparently, when they're one of those bands where they write an album, they release the album, and they tour hard as hell for a year or two.
Right now, they're doing their Evening with Machine Head tour in Europe.
Which is huge. Like, the Rave had an evening with Amon Amarth. And Amon Amarth, more Viking metal.
Oh my god. They have a new album coming.
I know. And it took me a while to get used to it because I got into, if we're just like jumping topics, but still within music. Like, I was into I guess I'd call it the classic Amon Amarth. So you had like the album with like Pursuit of Vikings, The Fate of Norns.
Okay.
Was the album. It's like The Fate of Norns around that time, because Once Sent from the Golden Hall, The Crusher, stuff like that. And then Twilight of the Thunder God came out, and that was hard hitting. It was the most digital sounding because even Versus the World, stuff like that, it was very much more analog sounding. Mm-hmm. And then they kind of more digitized the songs, I guess I'd say. And Twilight of the Thunder God became my favorite, but I still loved The Fate of Norns because that was more of a down-home feel. Then you came out with Surtur Rising and Deceiver of the Gods.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't listen to them for like the first year that they were out, and now those are like my two favorite
Absolutely.
albums.
I love Deceiver of the Gods. That is an awesome, awesome album.
What was that 10-minute music video where they turned it into a short film?
It was the title track.
That was the title from Deceiver of the Gods?
Yep, it was Deceiver of the Gods.
Father of the Wolf.
That's right. That's what it was.
But it was from the Deceiver of the Gods album, Father of the Wolf, where they basically had Thor and Loki in disguise meet up and a battle erupts. And
it was like 4 minutes in before the song even started. But it was worth it.
I loved it. And now they're working on some more stuff. And I am so looking forward to it.
You know, it's absolutely hilarious to see how much those guys have fun too. Like I think they were part of Shiprocked a couple years ago or something like that.
I'm pretty sure, yeah.
And there was a video that they recorded of the lead singer singing karaoke.
Oh, Johan Hegg.
Johan was singing freaking System of a Down.
Yes.
It was that?
So terrible. I loved it. Oh, System of a Down cover by a Viking metal singer, which he was, Johan, the frontman, was actually, he played a character in, I can't remember the name of the movie, The Northman?
Or something like that.
It was a pretty damn good movie.
I want to say he's been on the Vikings series, which, I mean, really, they don't even have to do makeup for him, even.
Like, if you... Modern times, if the average person thought of a Viking and then saw a picture of Johan Hegg from Amon Amarth, they would say, that's him.
Yep, that's a Viking.
Like, I mean, this is a band that I've yet to see them, and I would say they're my favorite band.
Yeah.
But, I mean, they have stage props to the point where they have a Viking ship that sits on stage. They bring out people in Viking armor and weaponry who fight on stage during the songs. It's so incredible. Like, they really do live and breathe the Viking way.
Let's see, when are they in the U.S.? They are in the U.S. in April.
Yeah, next time they come through Milwaukee, Chicago, or Minneapolis, let's go.
May 5th.
Thursday, May 5th.
In Chicago, and Tuesday, May 10th in Minneapolis.
Why are they skipping Wisconsin this time?
I don't know.
The last time they were through Wisconsin
is like Viking territory.
The last time they were through
not
Wisconsin,
football, but it's Viking territory.
And I mean, it seems like more and more bands are skipping the rave. I don't know if that's
it's the rave, though. I mean,
the Balistreri family owns the
management
rave.
Issues. You know, I'm as far as I've heard, and you know, granted, I'm nowhere near in that part of the music scene as you are.
No,
but from what I understand, the management of the rave is terrible. Burning bridges, you know.
Well, I applied to actually just work their box office. Never even got a call back. And it's like I did a... You know, every couple of years, you've heard of Americans for the Arts?
Yes.
You know, they're the number one, the largest lobbyist or nonprofit lobbyist for the NEA, the National Endowment for the Arts.
Yeah.
Basically, the Americans for the Arts are the lobbyist group that works towards providing government funding for the arts in schools.
All right.
I worked for the Americans for the Arts. I was one of less than 200 people across the country that participated in this project where they basically pulled in a bunch of statistics to crunch them down and present the numbers to Congress. And I didn't even get a call back to work as a part-time box office assistant for the rave. But I mean, I hope to have the guy on in the future, but have you heard of New Society of Anarchists, or NSA?
No, I haven't.
Brew City Hardcore out of Milwaukee.
I have heard Bruce that, so yeah.
Remember the Milwaukee Massacre show?
Mm-hmm.
That was those guys.
Okay.
Security got two up in the face of one of their crew, and all hell broke loose. I'm talking everything in the bar at the rave got destroyed.
Wow. Stage
Lights and PAs getting destroyed. The security guards were pulling out police batons and hitting fans. So then there were reports of, people that were there where as the fight broke out, people that were on stage playing just like chucked their guitars, kicked their drum kit over, and dived right in and started beating on the security guards.
Wow.
It got ugly. And one of my friends who was a former boss, he was one of those where when the fight broke out, he started kicking in stage lights. Supposedly, and I don't doubt his story, but when things got a little heavy, the owner of the rave apparently showed up, and he got a nice fat loogie in his face for my buddy.
Wow.
The security guards were holding him back, and he just whiffed one right in his face.
Yeah. Wow. That says something about management. I mean, like it's nothing like 7th Avenue over in the Twin Cities. You heard what happened there.
No.
Theory of a Dead Man was playing, and the freaking ceiling came down.
Whoa.
They literally brought down the house.
Anybody hurt? Or
not that I heard of, because
or at least
like
minor.
Little bits and pieces were starting to fall, so they all backed off, and then a big chunk fell.
Oof.
Of the ceiling.
That's some crazy stuff. I would not want to be in that situation. Like,
Yeah,
say
no
the
kidding.
rafters cave in.
When I heard that, the damage was not bad enough where they could get it fixed and back up and running, I'm like, thank God, because 7th Avenue is one of those venues that you'd never want to see go away.
Yeah.
That is an amazing place. I've been there probably 6 times only, but God, if I lived in the Twin Cities, I'd probably live there every weekend.
I can imagine. I've never attended a concert in Minnesota, but it's on my bucket list because I hear such incredible things about shows in the Minneapolis area, especially 7th Avenue.
Yeah.
It's a mainstay, really.
Yeah, if you ever get a chance, like, even if it's a no-name band, it's worth going to 7th Avenue.
I need to check it out.
I even forgot who the hell I saw there, but it was a really good show. And because they've got it's set up kind of weird at first, like when you walk in there, because of course they've got their stage and then the pit, and then around the pit they have basically tables, like if it was a restaurant or something like that,
which is kind of nice at the same time.
And then the bar is up on the mezzanine, which runs even further outside than that.
Whoa.
But the view from the mezzanine is great. You can see the concert easily and get your drink on.
Well, because like even at the rave, not the ballroom, but the rave itself. And I mean, I've been in the ballroom a few times because there's like 3, maybe 4 rooms I've been in at the rave for shows.
Okay.
The ballroom is solid. That's where I saw Marilyn Manson.
I still have yet to go to the rave. Like, that's one of the places.
You've never been to the rave?
I've never been there.
I think 3/4 of the shows I've been to, because otherwise there was the Tinley Park Amphitheater.
Mm-hmm.
The Orpheum in Madison is actually where I saw it In This Moment in Mudvayne. And then the Rec Center in Merrill. The Leach Amphitheater in Oshkosh, and then the rest have been at the rave, except AC/DC I saw at the Bradley Center.
No, I'll admit, like, my wife has actually been to the rave quite a few times, and she's seen a lot of good shows there. Like,
oh yeah,
like I said, she saw Gwar there.
Yep, that was a great show.
Korn.
I saw Korn there twice.
She's seen Metallica. I have not seen Metallica, and she's seen Metallica. It's like, damn.
Metallica would be, as much as I love to like crap on Metallica or hate on them for business decisions, there's a reason Metallica's popular.
Exactly.
They're good. I mean, Orion. The guitar and bass parts on Orion. Mm-hmm. That alone, you just be like, this is a good band.
And they're old school. Like, God, now I can't even think of the name of one of the original punk bands. But
original, that's tough. Dead Kennedys.
Same era, but I can't.
Same era. Ramones.
Yeah, like they'll play an album front to back in about 40 minutes.
They just cruise, huh?
They cruise and they play it at about a third faster.
Whoa!
Live.
And it was already fast,
Uh huh.
Wow.
When I was in the army, I saw.
Show.
When I was in the army, I had a buddy that had seen them live, and he was like, "Amazing show, but holy crap, are they fast. They don't take breaks between the songs for people to applaud even. They just...
Shut up, we're still playing.
they just keep plowing through.
God, see that's something I'd love. Like, there's certain bands, like I was talking about Opeth, where they got more crowd interaction as opposed, not just by like, okay, now this part of the song, hey, which is still fun, gets a crowd involved. But like those types of bands where they bring the stage presence, like Mastodon. I still love Mastodon, even though The Hunter, in my opinion, wasn't the greatest album. They're a band that they come out.
Well, they
stand
really
quietly.
Changed their image quite a bit.
They've had to. You look at Blood Mountain, which was a great album. Then Crack the Sky, which was like modern Pink Floyd. Where do you go from there? You have to rebrand.
I mean, seriously, they caught me completely off guard with their most recent album, though. I mean, like, have you seen the music videos?
No.
For like the Motherlode?
I avoided it, to be honest with you.
Oh my god, it's hilarious. Because it starts out as a traditional, metal music video. You've got everything kind of in sepia tone.
Okay.
A big guy wearing pants with chains around him, carrying a big bell around and crap like that. Typical metal music video. And then all of a sudden, a whole bunch of chicks come out and start twerking like crazy.
Whoa.
The whole music video is about twerking.
I'm going to have to check that out then.
Totally caught me off guard.
I wonder if Red Fang helped them out with, like, thinking outside the box. Because have you seen the Red Fang music videos?
No.
And Red Fang falls under progressive metal. They were on Relapse Records like Mastodon was until they went... Mastodon ended up going to Warner Brothers.
Okay.
Red Fang, they're out of Portland, signed with an Atlanta-based record label, and their music video is like Prehistoric Dog.
Okay.
It's a music video where, spoiler alert, it's been out for a few years. If you haven't seen it, check it out. Yeah. Basically, they start out where the band is sitting in the back of like a Cutlass or something. Or they're sitting in a Cutlass, the drummer's in the back seat with beer cans up to the windows. And they just happen to glance out the window and see some LARPers. And one of them yells to the wizard, "Hey, Gandalf, nice dress." So they basically flip him off. So the guys finish their beers, throw the cans out the window, drinking PBR, and they cruise down the road. And then most of the video is them basically jamming out in their kitchen, beer cans accumulating on the floor till they pile up. Then all of a sudden they're puking all over the place. They're making armor. They're using kegs, beer cans to make armor. And then when it gets to the bridge of the song, there comes the band running in with like beer can swords. One of them has a Heineken keg hammer.
Nice.
And so they like start beating on the LARPers. And then the LARPers run off to their vehicles and grab real weapons.
Oh, God.
And then they just literally cutting arms, like Monty Python style.
Oh, my God. That's great.
Cutting the arms and legs off the band.
But
and one of them grabs Gandalf the White from the Two Towers, grabs a wizard's staff, and actually uses real magic to zap some of them.
Oh, my God. That's hilarious.
And then, like, Wires. Another good song. Basically, they have eviction notices, last warning on bills, and then they get a check from the record label. And it just, dude, we got a check. So they go cash it. They buy a car, buy up a bunch of food and random stuff, and go to a local airport where they set up some stuff, reinforce the front end of the car, and the music video is them smashing into stuff.
Oh my God. Yeah. Like the other Mastodon video that came off their newest album is weird too, but the guy is like passed out on his couch in pajama pants. And it's all about his cat like sneaks out and goes through this tunnel, and there's a whole bunch of cats like dressed up like druids, and the cat goes on a spirit journey, like drinks some milk with LSD in it and goes slays a tiger and crap like that.
All right, I'm gonna have to watch that. It sounds like they took a good direction.
Yeah, they're goofy as hell right now.
You're familiar with the Crack the Sky album?
Kinda.
That was basically, if I remember correctly, the guitarist Brent, he's the one with the tattoo on his forehead.
Okay.
That's actually where he had surgery. So he got a
To
tattoo
cover the scar.
essentially. Apparently, he was drunk on tour with System, or at least Shavo, the bassist from System. They got into a scrap. Brent got sucker punched, hit his head on the concrete, brain damage, all that stuff. And the doctors told him to stop drugs. And he said, well, within 2 weeks, I was back on drugs. So apparently, the 9 months after he had surgery, between the way his brain was healing, the medication he was on for the post-op,
Yeah.
and his recreational drugs, he spent 9 months in a state of euphoria.
Wow.
And in those 9 months, he wrote Crack the Sky, which ended up being a story where somebody essentially on their deathbed experienced the silver tether out-of-body experience. Their spirit floated up into space, got too close to the sun, and burned the cord, so the spirit was separated from the body. Then ended up going through a black hole where it came into a parallel dimension where essentially there was a planet that was like Tsarist Russia.
How fun.
The soul spiraled down and landed within the confines of Rasputin's body. And then there was the overthrow of the Tsar. And so they're running from all the bad guys, basically. And the way it ends up is Rasputin's like dying breath promises to take the spirit back to his body. So the two spirits are tethered together, flying back up through the black hole known as the Crack in the Sky to bring the guy's soul back to Earth.
Wow.
That's a lot to throw at you at once, but that is essentially the story behind Crack the Sky.
Nifty.
And actually, for the title Crack the Sky with an E on the end, the drummer's sister committed suicide. Her name was Sky.
Okay.
So like there's all different tie-ins with that, but the fact is the guy was like messed up on drugs, like Pink Floyd style.
Wow.
And that's how he wrote the prog basically the prog metal version of The Wall.
Hey.
Sorry for the long-winded tale.
No, it's cool to hear that stuff. All right.
But yeah, so I mean basically Rockfest sounds like it's going to be a hell of a good time.
Northern Invasion's looking amazing, but they still haven't listed what bands are on which day, even though they came out with a lineup back in December.
Oh, they should probably get on that.
Well, it's really pissing me off because I can probably only afford one day.
Do you have who?
The lineup? Yeah, absolutely.
Next January, check out EverCon. Be sure to check out Rockfest this year. And then what do we got for the Northern Invasion?
First off, Disturbed.
Which is solid.
Rob Zombie, which I still have yet to see Rob Zombie.
Same here.
Korn, Shinedown, Chevelle, Day to Remember, Bring Me the Horizon, Seether. I've seen them like 4 or 5 times at this point.
Seether once for me.
Seether's pretty good.
I like them.
Lamb of God, Ghost, 6 a.m.
Ghost?
Ghost.
Have you listened to Ghost?
Yes, I have.
They're different.
Yeah. 6 a.m., which I'd love to see Nikki Sixx's solo, or stuff like that.
I'd pay to see 6 a.m.
I saw Crew when they played with Poison at Fort McCoy for the Army concert tour. That's the only concert that I almost got arrested at.
Okay, what happened there?
So at the end of the opening band, right before Poison started playing, my brother and I went to go get more beer because we were, I'd say, 20-25 feet from the stage on the right-hand side. So we worked our way back, grabbed another 2 pitchers of beer. We're working our way back up, and a guy wasn't liking the fact that we were cutting through the crowd and pushed my brother from the back and called security. Well, we've already had a couple beers at this point because we were going back for more. And the security guards just absolutely swarmed us. And my brother is not a little guy. He's probably about 6'5", 300 pounds.
Can hold his own.
Yeah. And they were trying to knock the pitcher out of his hands because there's 2 or 3 security guards holding on to
A
him.
fresh pitcher?
A fresh pitcher.
That's awful.
And of course it's concert prices, so it's like freaking $15 for that damn pitcher, you know?
And your left lung.
So he picks up the pitcher and he just basically pours it over his head while he's trying to down it as much as possible with like 3 security guards hanging on him. And
it's like Popeye with the spinach, just like, give me strength.
And security guards ended up dragging us out of the crowd, sat us way over at the head of the thing, saying, if you don't, you're going to stay here for 15 minutes. If you're not here in 15 minutes, we're going to find you, and you can sit the rest of the concert in the freaking pokey.
Oh, snap.
So, needless to say, we sat there for like 15 minutes.
Didn't even flinch. But there was more bands on the Northern Invasion.
Yeah.
And that sounds like a solid nu metal lineup.
Northern Invasion's definitely toward the newer, harder side. Pop Evil, Seven Dust, Clutch, Hell Yeah, POD.
Whoa. Oh, so POD is still relevant.
Yeah, Baby Metal. I don't know if you've heard of Baby Metal. It is probably the weirdest fusion band I've heard of yet.
Somebody suggested that to me the other day.
It is J-pop.
Is it really?
Japanese pop mixed with metal.
Because I saw Duran Gray.
So it's got a very solid band backing them up with 3 teenage-looking girls singing the songs and doing synchronized dancing at the same time.
That's thinking outside the box.
It is unique, but my daughter loves them.
That's fantastic. Your daughter's how old again?
She turns 9 this year.
Turns 9 and she's a fan of Baby Metal.
Yeah,
I love it.
And like their biggest song stateside is "Give Me Chocolate." Give me chocolate. So
I've heard of it. I gotta check it out yet.
But yeah, I want to see them just for a curiosity standpoint of,
at the very least,
how the crowd reacts to J-pop metal fusion.
That's something new
it's an
for
American
us.
crowd. That I really kind of want to see how that happens. Anyhow, there's Yellow Wolf, Blackstone Cherry, Trivium, Asking Alexandria. I can't even read the name of that band. God bless it. Why do they got to put their logos up there? Parkway Drive.
Parkway. Have you listened to them?
I can't name a song off the top of my head.
Check out Parkway Drive.
I've probably heard them, but I didn't know it was them.
They're a new fusion type metal band, and they're pretty damn good. My boss, the Ostrich, showed me them.
Nice.
Awesome stuff.
Saint Asonia, Butcher Babies. Butcher Babies have played a couple times in the Q&Z, and they're very good. Turbo Wolf, Beartooth, Red Sun Rising, Enter Shikari, Avatar.
Avatar's gonna be there?
Avatar.
I love Smells Like a Freak Show, man. That song sets the tone.
Yes, it is. I love Avatar. Lacey Sturm, solo stuff. Aranda, because it's not Aranda. From Ashes to New. Monster Truck, The Glorious Sons, Audiotopsy, Wild Throne, Raven Eye, and City of the Week.
Dang.
I mean, that's a very solid lineup. 38 bands in 2 days.
That's a lot of music. Like, you're gonna have to cram coffee or energy drinks to be able to watch all that.
3 stages.
But that's like 95% of those bands I've heard of and like.
3 stages, no overlapping sets. 2 days. That is rock.
That's nonstop.
From 10 a.m. on.
Till probably midnight and then
least.
Next day.
Yeah.
Imagine getting that wake-up call to Rob Zombie playing. Granted, he's going to be more of a headliner type, but still.
Yeah, it's pretty much going to be Rob Zombie and Disturbed being the big headliners.
Disturbed, that was probably, when I first saw Disturbed, that was the biggest show I had seen. And oh my God, was it good.
I've seen Disturbed 3 times now. The one time with the meet and greet for Uproar. That was the
which I'm jealous of.
That's the last time I saw them, but I saw them twice in the Music as a Weapon tours.
Oh yeah, Music as a Weapon. That's where I saw them.
That was their tour.
Yep.
And they did a really good job. Actually, Thursday night, sorry. David Draymond came out as a special guest during Breaking Benjamin's show in New York City. And they did Under Pressure.
No way.
Yeah, Draymond did. Freaking.
I bet he slayed it too.
Oh my god, it was interesting. It was better than karaoke. I'll put it that way. But, he played. Oh god, I can't even think of the damn person's name that just died. But Ben did Freddie Mercury's part.
Bowie.
Yeah. So Draymond did Bowie's part, and then Ben did Freddie Mercury. It was hilarious listening to that.
I bet, but it was probably still a great experience.
Oh yeah,
at the very
absolutely.
least.
You're watching Breaking Benjamin and Disturbed sing Under Pressure. How could that not be good?
No matter what, even if it was the worst bar karaoke you've ever heard. But I mean, so check it out, Wisconsin. We got a lot coming up as far as music. We said next January, checking out EverCon. I need to check that out.
Yeah.
We are getting to the end of this episode.
Yeah.
Ben, I can't thank you enough. This has been a hell of an episode.
Hell yeah, it's been fun.
Absolutely. So be sure to check out Northern Invasion, Rockfest. Rock USA seemed a little light in comparison to these lineups, but all three of them are still a great time. And Ben, I really hope to have you on in the future. This has been a great experience.
It's been fun just to sit back and drink a couple beers during the middle of the day.
That's right. Point Drop Dead Blonde, unofficial sponsor of this episode of Rawcast. But so with another edition of Rawcast wrapped up, here we go. Thank you so much, Ben, once again. It's been a while since we've hung out. Well, we haven't hung outside work, I don't think. So this has been a great experience for me. Thanks again. This is Rawcast AD.